Hello and good morning. I'm just waking up from the last day of a retreat that I've been attending, so continuing my trend of filming in different locations. I'm in yet another one. But I wanted to share just a short little video today and a warning that there are some four-letter words in it because I wanted to share what I've been learning at this retreat. Which is some pretty cool stuff. But the main themes that I'm finding myself sort of taking away from this weekend are power, ownership, and shit. So I figured I would share a little bit about those three things because I think that they're all sort of vital to being a good person, essentially. We'll start backwards. We'll start with the shit. So everybody's got their little bags of shit that they bring around with them. Those bags can be your past experiences, your emotions, you carry all of that shit with you. And in any given moment in a conversation, you can either hold on to your bag of shit, you can have ownership of that bag of shit, or you can try and pass it off on somebody else. And passing it off on somebody else is never a good idea, for two reasons. One is that it's not their bag of shit. No one ever deserves to have someone else's bag of shit passed off on them. But it's also bad because it doesn't really move any sort of conversation forward. It doesn't serve any real purpose other than to make you feel better in that particular moment. It doesn't solve any problems down the line. So it's important to have ownership of your shit, to make sure that when you go into any conversation that you recognize, I'm coming in with my past experiences, I'm coming in with my own emotional baggage, and I recognize that nobody owes me anything because of that, and they certainly don't deserve for me to dump my shit on them. So that idea of ownership comes into play when you're talking about shit, because you've got to own your own, and you don't have to take on anybody else's. But let's sort of expand on this idea of ownership, because it's really easy to say then, if I don't deserve to take anybody's shit, then I don't have to respect anybody's shit, if that makes sense. And I think, and what I've been discussing with the wonderful women at the retreat this weekend, is that even though we've all got shit, and even though none of us can take responsibility for another person's shit, there is power in being able to acknowledge, I've got my shit, you've got your shit, I respect mine enough to not dump it on you, but I can still have my own standards of how I'm going to treat a person, and I can still have my own standards for productivity of a conversation, and recognize that nobody is going to be able to move anywhere if there's no respect. People are going to get stuck in their shit if you are just perpetually throwing it at each other, you know? If you don't allow other people to have their shit, if you don't respect the fact that other people have their shit, and all that you think to yourself is, well, I've got mine, I'm going to hold on to it, I don't want yours, get away from me, nothing moves forward. So I think that's been one of my most valuable takeaways from this weekend, is the idea that ownership of shit is important, but that there is no power in that ownership if you can't also respect the fact that other people have their shit too, and respect the fact that you can't control what other people do with their shit. I think that that's vital, that people seem to somehow think that in order to be powerful, you have to be a bully. And there could be nothing further from the truth. I think if you want to be powerful, if you want to be able to make an impact in somebody's life, you have to take ownership of your own shit and recognize that it's shit. It's just stuff that's in your head, that's based on your experiences and your personal beliefs. And while that may be truth for you, it may not be truth for somebody else. And so when you're engaging in a conversation with someone about anything, any sort of hot button issue that raises all of this shit inside all of us, own your own shit and respect the fact that they have theirs. And try to talk to each other in a way that respects every individual's right to own their shit and be the one that owns yours. Because that's power.